gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's a Black Gen Z mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
Hartford police are investigating 3 separate incidents ending the 4th of July with multiple injuries and 1 fatality. Police were called to Cleveland Avenue after a woman was shot and killed. Police say officers were called at 12:50 this morning. When they got on scene, they found a woman and a man both in their 20s. The woman was unresponsive. She was taken to the hospital where she died.
Wow. So another bloody 4th of July weekend in the Black community, this time in Hartford, Connecticut. And a woman was shot and killed. And these stories just keep repeating themselves over and over again, year after year. And we all know that it gets hot during the holidays. You had over 100 people shot in Chicago this weekend, so nothing's changed there. And I think people are tired of it, but the right people are not tired of it. See, that's the issue that we have in the Black community. The right people are not tired of it, and the right people are Black people in and of itself. We have to be tired of it. We have to use group acknowledgement. We have to use group accountability in order to move forward as a community. If not, we're just gonna keep seeing these incidents where you have young Black women killed in the streets because these super gremlins are on demon time.
The man was alert, also taken to the hospital. Police say the two were both in their own cars when they were shot. The victim is identified as 23-year-old Shamyria Williams. This is the 10th homicide this year in the city of Hartford. Police say she and the man were both caught in a crossfire, leaving a 4th of July party when 2 groups of people were firing at each other.
My niece was so humble and innocent, smart girl, go to work every day, better in her life, calm, easygoing. She was so soft-spoken. This was really unnecessary, very unnecessary.
Also on Seymour Street, police say 2 people were shot around 11:30 last night. A 19-year-old man is in the hospital in stable condition. He was shot in the neck. A man in his 20s is also in the hospital in stable condition. Lastly, around 7:15 last night, police say someone was stabbed on New Britain Avenue. That person is expected to be okay. Police are still investigating all of these incidents. Now, there are multiple people of interest in that Cleveland Avenue shooting. Police have not made any arrests at this time, but are continuing to investigate all of these incidents around the city. Anyone with any information is asked to contact Hartford Police. In Hartford, Lindsay Kane, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
It was a deadly 4th of July holiday in the city of Hartford. An exchange of gunfire killed a 23-year-old woman in the North End. And an hour before that, 2 young men were involved in another shooting in the South End. Chief political reporter Susan Raff is live on Cleveland Avenue in the city's North End. Susan, a busy scene behind you there.
Bryant, this has pretty much been a crime scene all day since this shooting happened. In fact, we are seeing more Hartford police officers come in front of this home that you can see here on Cleveland Avenue. From what we're hearing from police, a 23-year-old woman came to this street last night. It was around 1 o'clock in the morning. We are told she was inside a car when she was tragically and accidentally killed by an exchange of gunfire.
We believe that was a volley of gunfire. We believe that both victims were unintended targets. They just happened to be stuck in a packed street when 2 groups of parties were firing at each other.
Now, we're also told that there was another man who was also here. We're not sure if he was in a car, but he was also shot. We are told he was not an intended target either, but it looks like he's going to be okay. An hour before this shooting here in the North End, we are told there was a shooting in the South End. This happened on Seymour Street.
Damn.
Apparently, there was another exchange of gunfire. 2 people were shot, a 19-year-old and a man in his 20s. Both are expected to be okay. And coming up on Eyewitness News at 5 and 6.
I mean, the community is just completely on fire at this point. You got 2 shootings in a short span of each other within a close vicinity. I mean, it just doesn't make sense, man. It really does not make any sense.
We will have more details on what exactly police are looking for. Plus, residents in Hartford talk about what's happening and why they don't necessarily feel safe being out at night. We are live in Hartford. Susan Raff, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Okay, Susan, thank you.
A woman is dead and a man is hurt after an overnight shooting, and now police say they were just in the wrong place at the wrong time. NBC Connecticut's Melissa Cooney is live at the scene with more on what we've learned. Melissa?
Mike, police say that two groups were shooting at each other here on Cleveland Avenue. That's when the victim was shot and killed sitting in her car. Police say another man was taken to the hospital, and they say neither of these people were involved in the violence. Rather, they were just unintended victims.
Wow. So, I mean, as a black woman, you can't even sit in your car in the black community without getting clapped. Sheesh, man. We are in a very dangerous time. We're living through very dangerous times, and it's extremely important for the community to really start to acknowledge this type of stuff.
4th of July festivities taking a turn for the worst Thursday night, where Michelle Franklin says her niece Shamyria Williams was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
My niece was so humble and innocent, smart girl, go to work every day. My niece didn't deserve this.
Franklin and family friend Vicky Kirkpatrick say the act of violence is senseless, pleading more action be taken to prevent situations like the killing of their loved one.
I know people are trying, but something has to be done. I don't know if they have to think, but prayer, we can pray.
Also Thursday night, an incident police believe is unrelated occurred on Seymour Street, where two other victims were shot.
4th of July weekend is typically a very busy weekend, potential for violence.
These acts of violence and one murder come after Hartford experienced no homicides in the month of June. This is Hartford's 10th homicide of the year, down slightly compared to 15 this time last year and 21 this time in 2022. There have been 37 non-fatal shootings so far this year, also down slightly compared to 49 this time last year and 79 this time in 2022. It's a resurgence of violence community members say is unfortunate, many saying they're crossing their fingers for the months ahead.
Hartford is not really bad other people, but you have some people just coming around.
I pray we have a safe summer.
I don't know what the hell that ninja just said.
We really don't want any deaths. We don't want any murders, anything like that.
And police say that these investigations are ongoing both at Cleveland Avenue behind me and at Seymour Street. And coming up at 6, hear from the mayor of Hartford and a call to action from Mothers United Against Gun Violence. We're live in Hartford. Melissa Cooney, NBC Connecticut News.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
Hit a grim new number this week. 10 homicides since the start of 2024. But as Fox 61's Jake Garcia shows us, this latest victim of deadly gun violence was more than just a number. Today, she was remembered with love and calls for justice. Jake?
Friends and family of 23-year-old Shamyria Williams gathered along Cleveland Avenue Saturday afternoon to honor her life and to call for justice. She was shot and killed while sitting in her car early Friday morning. Friends and family flooded Cleveland Avenue in Hartford's North End with pink and white in honor of Shamyria Williams, known to her friends as My. Hartford police say it was just before 1 a.m. Friday morning when they were dispatched to Cleveland Avenue for a shooting. When they arrived, they found two victims, Shamyria Williams and a man also in his 20s, both with gunshot wounds. Hartford police say the two were in their own cars when they were caught in the crossfire of two groups of people shooting at one another.
And we know these groups of people were most likely just black gangs feuding, beefing, crash out culture, ops culture. It's here. It's prevalent. It has infected every part of black society, and it's not going to stop unless we put a stop to it, unless we put an end to it, unless we come and confront it with acknowledgement, accountability, and then working to improve the relations amongst each other.
Just hours earlier, her parents said they were enjoying a 4th of July cookout as a family. Williams' mother describes the last interaction she had with her daughter.
I looked when I seen her come out of her room. I said, "That's you, my." She's like, "Yes, Ma." And she walked out the door. I ain't question her because she's responsible.
Her family says she loved to travel and had a good heart as she worked with people with disabilities in Wethersfield.
I mean, I would barely even see my daughter because she was pulling so many double shifts just to work with them.
Her dad says she was excited because she recently got a new car and was looking forward to planning a trip overseas with him.
I was about to go take her to Africa to see my father, the king. Now look at this. This is sad. They killed my princess.
Shamyria's mom says this is too much loss. She also lost her brother to gun violence a few years ago and has this message to the community.
Put the guns down. Stop the violence. Stop it.
Well, that's going to take a whole cultural revamping. It's going to take a cultural renaissance amongst the black community. And it can't just be put the guns down because, you know, a gun is just a tool for self-protection, self-preservation. The real reality needs to, the real message needs to be, turn the rap music off. Turn the violent media off that is making you think that it's cool to do things like this, okay? Turn the rap music off, turn the hip-hop music off, or at least have some type of understanding that media, different art forms, movies, whatever, music, is not real life, and it shouldn't be, you know, repeated or enacted as if it's real life, okay? Another solution, the single mother epidemic. We have a lot of young black men who don't have guidance, leadership, and in many cases, the fathers are not suitable, and I think that goes into mating choices of black men and black women alike. So there's so many different angles we can attack this issue, and we know it's not just one problem, and we know that it can't just be solved by saying one thing, because okay, put the guns down and look at what they doing in the UK, these ninjas picking up knives and shivving each other. So it's deeper than that, lady. It's deeper than that, ma'am, and a lot of black people just refuse to come to grips with the reality, and we have contributed to the degradation of our own culture, and it's time to make some changes.
Y'all took my baby. Y'all took my brother. That's it now.
She wants anyone with information to come forward. She also has this message to the gunman.
Because when you get behind them prison walls, oh, it ain't gonna be so pretty.
Saturday's vigil ended with the balloon release and calls for...
Hartford police said they are looking for multiple people of interest in this case, but so far no arrests have been made. The second victim is still recovering from his injuries. Anyone with information on this case is asked to contact Hartford police. Reporting in Hartford, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Tonight, a family is honoring a life lost to gun violence in Hartford. Those family members and friends came together at a vigil today for a woman who was shot and killed on Friday. Police say 23-year-old Shamyria Williams was an unintended target. NBC Connecticut's Jeremy Chen has more on how her family is speaking out today.
It's an emotional time for the Williams family as they continue to process this loss. A vigil was held in her memory, reflecting on her life and a call for justice.
My baby, She was precious. She was my precious jewel.
A jewel Lucretia Williams held dear to her heart, now gone. She and other family members mourning the death of her daughter, 23-year-old Shamyria Williams. Hartford police say she was shot and killed in a shooting on Cleveland Avenue early Friday morning. A man was also left injured. Her mother says they were celebrating the 4th of July during that time.
You're supposed to enjoy, have cookouts, and enjoy family, have fun.
The loss still very raw for her father.
And I've already suggested a solution to the issues in the black community. Refrain from large gatherings, large get-togethers, kickbacks, block parties, whatever you call it, until we get this problem, this issue under control. And if we can't get it under control, then hey, you just gonna have to stop going outside. And it sucks that we even have to get to this point, but the reality is we cannot get together in large groups without shooting the place up. And it's sad that we even have to have this discussion, but this is what it's looking like in the community. And you have, innocent victims, innocent bystanders who are essentially becoming exposed to this type of violence that they never expected in their own personal lives. But once you start getting involved and trying to be in the mix and trying to be part of the move and trying to be cool and going to these little parties and kickbacks, that's when you start to realize that being cool in the community, being cool in the hood is not all that it's cracked up to be.
My heart is pounding. I can't eat. I cry all night.
Williams was remembered by her family as a daughter who had a bright future. Her mother says she worked with people with disabilities and picked up many double shifts.
She just took care of them and did her job and put a lot of double shifts. I would barely even see my daughter because she was pulling so many double shifts.
Officers say they believe two groups of people were shooting at each other on Cleveland Avenue at the time. They say Williams and the injured man were stuck on a packed street and were unintended targets. It's especially painful for Lucretia Williams. Not only losing her daughter, her brother Jeremy Williams was killed in Hartford back in February of 2010. The trail in that homicide case still cold.
Put the guns down. Stop the violence. Stop it. Y'all took my baby. Y'all took my brother. That's it now.
Her mother demanded justice and the shooter responsible to turn themselves in.
What you did to her, you better know. God sit high, but he looked low. So there's consequences to actions and behavior.
Hartford police say they have identified 3 people of interest and investigators have spoken with them. The investigation remains ongoing. Reporting in Hartford, Jeremy Chen, NBC Connecticut News.
Hartford hit a grim new number this week. 10 homicides since the start of 2024. But as Fox 61's Jake Garcia shows us, this latest victim of deadly gun violence was more than just a number. Today, she was remembered with love and calls for justice. Jake?
Friends and family of 23-year-old Shamyria Williams gathered along Cleveland Avenue Saturday afternoon to honor her life and to call for justice. She was shot and killed while sitting in her car early Friday morning.
Friends and family flooded Cleveland Avenue in Hartford's North End with pink and white in honor of Shamyria Williams, known to her friends as My. Hartford police say it was just before 1 a.m. Friday morning when they were dispatched to Cleveland Avenue for a shooting. When they arrived, they found 2 victims, Shamyria Williams and a man also in his 20s, both with gunshot wounds. Hartford police say the 2 were in their own cars when they were caught in the crossfire of 2 groups of people shooting at one another. Just hours earlier, her parents said they were enjoying a 4th of July cookout as a family. Williams' mother describes the last interaction she had with her daughter.
I looked when I seen her come out of her room. I said, "That's you, My." She's like, "Yes, Ma." And she walked out the door. I ain't questioning because she's responsible.
Her family says she loved to travel and had a good heart as she worked with people with disabilities in Wethersfield.
I would barely even see my daughter because she was pulling so many double shifts just to work with them.
Her dad says she was excited because she recently got a new car and was looking forward to planning a trip overseas with him.
I was about to go take her to Africa to see my father, the king. Now look at this. This is sad. They killed my princess.
Shamyria's mom says this is too much loss. She also lost her brother to gun violence a few years ago and has this message to the community.
Put the guns down. Stop the violence. Stop it. Y'all took my baby. Y'all took my brother. That's it now.
She wants anyone with information to come forward. She also has this message to the gunman.
Because when you get behind them prison walls, oh, it ain't gonna be so pretty.
And, you know, I know she's saying that, but the reality is prison is like a hood reunion to black people nowadays. It's a hood reunion. You get to see all your friends. You learn some new licks, some new finesses in prison. You get to fight. You get to steal from other inmates who are weaker than you. It's mano a mano in prison, and that's the type of life that a lot of these young ninjas like to live. You get you a little punk you can fuck on, you know what I'm saying? This is the mindset of the Gen Z ninjas. That's why my channel is called Black Gen Z Mindset, because I'm trying to explain to you guys the pathology, the ideology, the thought process between you know, these young ninjas in the community. She doesn't understand that these guys are having fun in prison. They're embracing it. Why? Because these super gremlins are on demon time.
Saturday's vigil ended with the balloon release and calls for...
Hartford police said they are looking for multiple people of interest in this case, but so far no arrests have been made. The second victim is still recovering from his injuries. Anyone with information on this case is asked to contact Hartford police. Reporting in Hartford, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Gang violence and other kind of